Looks like we have reached a next level of heat. Never been done before. There's no leader still. It's literally just like yesterday, but something struck a conversation for me and my team, basically. You can see there's levels and levels, boys. Yeah, I mean, after we had COVID, it makes me think that, well, apocalypse has started. And honestly, I feel a little bit responsible knowing how big of an impact I would have into the world. So it's almost like an earthquake before there's space for me. It's like the world has to shift a little bit just to give me some space. You know, just to let me survive. How big of a troll I am. But maybe that's what happens when you leave the world of shadows. The entire world just starts crumbling down until people start acknowledging you, because they wanna reject me so badly. It's like, what's going on, bro? What is going on? So I do feel a little bit of a responsibility, but at the same time, that would be ridiculous, right? Let's check the cake of apocalypse. For some reason it's gone. Or is it... What? Where's the apocalypse cake? Oh, here it is. It's old now, dude. 5 days ago. We have to figure out exactly what's gonna happen. Alright? Because we can see the pattern. 2 years each for each move. COVID was lingering for 2 years. Then Russia attacked and created inflation crisis everywhere. And it's still not over. This year is probably gonna scare even more people. I mean, it's quite annoying. So I try to break it down in mysterious ways, as I do often. And often enough, that actually, like, works out. Except, I think this problem is even more complicated. Because, like, there's multiple solutions. That means I can't even understand what the problem is. With COVID, it's like, yeah, bro, just stay in home and wear a mask outside. And just enjoy your internet. Now, technically, like, the problem doesn't even exist, you just have to survive. But the biggest problem is you never know when people are gonna get desperate. Alright? At least desperate for advice, and if you don't have any advice, you might get in trouble. You know? You might get looted, to put it mildly. And that's what would happen if people get desperate. Very natural response. So I'll have to try and analyze. And this is not a series of any kind. I'm just trying to answer the question, right? It could still be a series, though. We could explore some Lithuanian music. I don't know if I want to explore Russian music. That would be weird. But that would be a more mainstream way to do it. The thing is, you know, COVID was more of a threat to US, I would imagine. It's almost like China farted. Like, they built the walls so high that they had to collapse in some kind of way, or just show weakness in some kind of way. But that just created a domino effect of one bad thing leading to the other. Just fantastic. You know, as we grow older, reality has to shift a little bit. And remove pieces from the board that are just old and invalid. It's just kind of what happens. It's kind of weird how Hearthstone hints at Apocalypse 2. And as always, you look at Cyrix upload, the vibe basically. It very often aligns with my thoughts. Doomsday right there, guys. Isn't that cool? We could even listen to that shit and seek lyrics. Not too loud though.
I play dead so that the monsters in my head think that they've done their best and they can take a rest.
Play dead. That sounds like being in shadows, kind of. I don't know.
I think that I just might have played this part too well. I'm not feeling myself and I'm wondering where I fell off the wagon. I'm dragging.
Well, you can definitely fall into the shadows if you pretend to be dead. I have been born technically in shadows. I don't even know, bro. Usually, yeah, like, if you can't create relationships, long-lasting relationships, there's something wrong. But at the same time, I just don't know if people can do it at all. But it feels like they can. But they also have to sacrifice something that I just can't sacrifice. That makes me so different.
Mud and used to love up to my attic, the static where I used to be ecstatic. You can call me dramatic, but I got this nasty habit. I'm living every day like it's doomsday. Even if
Another Tuesday. That's so annoying. So it's almost like scripted, because today's Tuesday. And, it's a weird thing for Cyrix to upload a song called Doomsday on Valentine's Day. Like, that's fucked up, too. And for me to have the same vibes, like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Maybe I'm exaggerating, but, I have to keep Russia on check. We have to understand how narcissists work. Because, that's the competition right now, the narcissism competition. Potentially that's what popped Andrew Tate out. But he's gonna be safe in prison, so that's cool. He should be glad that he's the coolest narcissist ever. But other than that, it's not gonna be safe. I mean, potentially right now, what's gonna happen, like, what happened with COVID is, like, your leadership just breaks down. All the leaders who thought they're gonna be connected with people, all their leadership is broken down. And again, it's evident with Niga Higa. His leadership just broke down. Potentially, he's not even that good of a person. Because, his channel is very high production. It's pretty tough to maintain that sort of stuff. Yeah, for a long time, when Russia attacked, I was, like, very invested in the news until I just... it kind of... The spectacle shut down. But, you can look at it as, like, yeah, this could have been bait. The entire Ukraine could just be a Trojan horse in this case. It's like, please save us. We're not NATO yet. NATO member. We don't actually follow the rules. You could still be on Russian side and whatnot. But please pay us money and give us weaponry and all that shit. At least they're not, like, obviously striking back, because that would be suicide, but, they created a human grinder. But the thing is, like, buying attention is very expensive. And they can't even do that necessarily. I mean, talks about this ongoing war is kind of seemingly irrelevant, and I don't keep up with the news anymore because nobody talks about it. It's like, it's kind of weird. However, the inflation is not something you can just look away from, because now that we hit with it, it's like now we have a lot of problems, and that also is not something we talk about. We talk about it as if like we can't afford things anymore, but it's not like we're trying to solve the problem, which is the usual, ignorance. It's like, I cannot do anything as one person. Yeah, as one person, I've been able to understand many problems and many solutions to that. It's just, if we're not gonna connect and try, we're never gonna make it, And if people are just stuck on a loop, and the best they can do is fucking play games of some kind. I'm here playing real games, bro, with my brain. Just strictly. I made my own game. So it's not really a game, it's probably to find something else entirely. So that's that. In other words, it's a psychic game which is playing with reality, playing God, which is completely different. Having control over your environment is completely different than just allowing to be controlled. This is, often enough why I'm just frustrated at other games for being lame and boring eventually. And you just have to move on, do something else. And if you have your own thing, then that's gonna save your ass. I don't know what to say to normies, though. Again, the most important thing, you guys have the numbers. Alright? Normies have connections with each other and all that shit. Hopefully, if you don't have that, it's gonna be tough. Because people can't connect to me. They just can't. It's impossible. It's the hardest puzzle of all time. Trying to relate to me and connect to me when I'm just way higher level because I have to be just to survive. I'm constantly, challenged in various ways. And I'm challenging myself at the same time because I'm now in a loop of just not being able to rest unless I keep improving myself constantly. It's very difficult to compare myself to other people, but yeah, if people don't have basic skills and ability to respect each other, or just ability to respect a clearly more intense person, it doesn't matter if I'm positive or negative or whatever. You're not supposed to disrespect me immediately, which is what happens, Oh, you're just sparking drama. And immediate disrespect. And I can spark drama, but if you're continuing to throw logs into it and make sure that it burns, it's like, fuck yeah, bro. It's definitely not my fault. Unfortunately. Internet is stalling in depression? What the fuck? Yeah, people just straight up fall for whatever my intentions are. Apparently it's way more important. They're not happy to fall for my intentions, but they fall for it. Alright? It's almost like going to an army. It's like, well, you're not happy, but you're gonna sacrifice yourself and create war, basically. Because, if nobody wanted to fight wars, there wouldn't be wars. It's just very simple. And the only war that we would fight is whoever mentions wars is like, we we eliminate them somehow.
Attack, what you looking at, like you never seen anyone having a quarter life crisis. I might be biased on the scale of self-destructive tendencies. I think I score the highest price. Everything good in my life overshadowed by sinking feeling that everything is gonna go to shit and it's the best it's gonna get. I just wanna be the kid who thought that the world was filled with possibilities, and now so many responsibilities, and my world is falling.
Possibilities? What? I mean, the key word is opportunities. Opportunities, and when you realize what the most expensive or the most valuable opportunities are, expensive, not opportunities, they're supposed to be free, then you will realize how big of a lack of skill people have, and it's just pathetic. I have advice for people. I have something to give, but not valuable advice. And when people get desperate, well, that's what I'm going to give them. Trick or treat, basically, is what we're going to be playing every single day. People will be knocking around, and we will play trick or treat. And I don't have tricks or treats, I literally just have advice, which is kind of both combined in this stupid way. I don't know, bro. It's a trick and a treat. It's pretty cute. Yeah, desperation. You know, right now people just want to get away from this feeling. It's like, I don't want to be desperate. That's so stupid, you know. But I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's still gonna be a lingering thought. It's just a growing monster. Monster of desperation. Can't be denied. Desperation. So we have to take a step back again. What was COVID teaching us about the apocalypse? Because, you know, again, if you want apocalypse, all you have to do is collapse the known superpowers. So China, Russia, Europe, and then US, the ultimate superpower that has all the opportunities technically and have taken those opportunities. But all that's also going to collapse. It's almost like a, you know, ticking bomb, but it goes through every single superpower and just boom with the last apocalypse 2 years or last phase basically. So that's the puzzle we're going to be solving. Quite fascinating. Let's see how close we're going to get. These are the chapters that we're going to be using. Just how many problems we're going to solve here is the question. Yeah. When you live in the shadows, you're desperate for interaction. But if you value opportunities, you'll find ways to interact. It's not. You don't have to beg the shadows. The shadows don't fucking understand begging. You have to come up to someone and actually just do it. So Neone, interesting. Modern tragedy. Okay, he's whispering now. Okay, we got that one. I think we're done with this shit. Yeah, it's just someone crying in the shadows and, like, whatever. Everyone has their own problems, basically. It's quite fascinating. To try and unentangle yourself from this nonsense. But you have to identify a lot of things, man. It's crazy, bro. Well, the fun part about COVID was the growing desperation of like boredom, and it probably made people solve the problem to some extent. But I'm not sure if I mean it's a weird one. It's like only smart people can solve problem, but I guess some kind of adaptation happened anyways. I don't know, bro. Most people would say it's like we lost a lot of freedoms. The government has taken over, but the government just backed off eventually, so that's fine. Um, we I don't know what I've learned from COVID because for me it was completely different experience, and I was stuck in a hospital the second year, 2021 basically. But potentially, I got a very unique experience in a way, which I don't want to happen again. That would be weird. Alright, it aligned itself very nicely with the years, the way they got labeled. But I don't know what's gonna happen next year. I don't really have a good plan. I just united all these 4 years into one. And it would be nice to have something special for next year. But I literally have so many months to figure this out. I'm sure I'll have more ideas later on. I talked about a lot of bullshit things, and very much so about inflation, and how there's plenty of category of people who gotta get looted, alright? Pet owners, gamers, just straight up narcissists who think they can buy expensive things. I mean, and well, whatever science community is up to, I'm not exactly sure. Authorities? Authorities who get paid for doing no work. I mean, that's fucked up, bro. Who get funded by the government itself. It's like, for fuck's sake. Maybe we don't need certain jobs whatsoever. Ask yourself that. Like, schools not supposed to exist anymore. Even hospitals potentially not supposed to exist anymore. Just straight up, these things can be shut down. And so when the apocalypse happens, the fun part is to figure out what is unnecessary, basically. Yeah, we just have to give up unnecessary things. Will AI produce apocalypse of its own? It's an interesting idea. AI kind of unites us as a topic of discussion. AI is actually potentially the hidden Russia, basically. Because as I've said, here's something about Russia that I just have a vibe of. They kind of care about the psychic powers. They have like a TV show running in my country for years now about just psychics showing off their powers. But the real thing, I think these people are very, very interested in spiritual stuff, and the only most accessible spiritual experience is just the dream world. So potentially, Russians are waging war not in reality, but in the dream world. Alright, in reality, they're just sacrificing, leftovers who doesn't actually understand where the war actually is. This is just a bait. The real war is whatever whatever happens in the dream world. However, you know, how do you identify a Russian to begin with? Maybe a narcissist. Maybe you can identify that. But I still don't have that many clues to be like, whoa, my dream world is in danger. It's just, the analogy is that AI is technically the realization of the dream world. And that's why it's so scary, alright? I don't know if I'm using the word realization. Making it a reality, basically. The dream world into reality. That's the idea, right? So, it's pretty deep. And it has been confirmed in many, many ways that that's what AI is supposed to do. Like, whatever you type in, whatever you want, bro. AI is gonna deliver. And it's very interesting to see that this technology is somehow popping up while Russia is collapsing. Isn't that weird? I think it's pretty weird. Even though we have been brewing this sort of stuff the whole time, it's just kind of popped its head out and taken over the world. And that is another scary thing, alright? Wouldn't it be scary if Russians knew how Dreamworld really works? And the other scary thing is very, very likely, alright? Very likely the real way to buy things is through your dreams that would turn into actions eventually, but like, you literally dream and you become predictable when you wake up almost. Because everyone knows what you want and what you're going to be chasing for in a way. So that's kind of a fascinating idea as well. But this is just me breaking down the current apocalypse stage. You know, stage 2 of Russia collapsing. Like, what? AI dream world? There's no way I can predict the other two, right? That would be crazy. Because this one already blows my mind and takes me hours and hours to just comprehend. This is still new information, technically. I want to show you guys something that sounds like a solution. It could be gone already.
Ladies and
Ah, yeah, that's the one. Prepare yourselves. That's what I want to happen. That's the way to use the dream world, is to demote the leadership of Russia, basically. That's the way, that's probably the solution to this problem. Because the leaders are the ones who feed the dreams. Mostly because they want to remain leaders. Otherwise, if people start dreaming about being leaders themselves, well, he's gonna get demoted anyways. But here it is. Here it is. Here's the solution, right? What if we use Dreamworld against Putin and demote him? Now the problem is we can spread the memes, but it will spread. It will spread into Russia. I mean, Russia is not in a lockdown. They see things that are happening around 1.1 million already, 7 years ago. But this is now very, very relevant.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am gay. I like long, big cocks. I am not super gay. I like long, big cocks. Now, once again, I would like to make this very clear.
Like, people hated Putin this much 7 years ago, bro.
I am gay, I like long, big cocks. I'm obsessed.
It really made me laugh, dude.
I like long, big cocks. Thank you for your attention, and I hope for your support.
Yeah, you need a lot of support, man. That's the way to do it. We have to spread this kind of ideology that we can't take Putin seriously. We just can't. He's just some mentally ill loser, basically. If we could just drill down into his grasp of leadership over Russia, I mean, we could just end this nonsense and move on to the next problem. Or we at least have to be aware. Well, at least I'm aware, so potentially I have the super weapon #1. Is there anything else? Well, yes, there is the other thing. People gonna be desperate around the world. You know, it's not just like, oh, that's your problem, Russia. Like, how could you not fix your problem, Russia? Like, no, the problem is gonna spread across the world because of the stupid inflation and everything, and people just desperately not understanding how money works anymore, because money doesn't really work. Fiat currency doesn't really work in times of in weird times, especially when people again are not encouraged to solve problems, real problems. But another weird thing is gonna happen, just like Ukraine has taught us, has shown us that Matrix is full of unsolved mysteries. Alright. See, the biggest amazing thing is like, oh, if I just send my dollar somewhere, it's gonna automatically solve a problem. Like, yeah, try sending dollars to Africa and see what happens. It's like, no, you have to understand that they need infrastructure, and the problems will solve themselves. But building an infrastructure is the problem. It's like, it's pretty difficult, and the language barrier is ridiculous, and just culture barrier, like, that's some crazy shit to go through, unfortunately, that you just can't easily solve. And so thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna send some dollars somewhere and it's gonna solve something. No, you're just getting looted. And you're putting attention into something and you feel good about it, and is the greatest thievery of all time. Charity, you know? Giving your money to charities if it's gonna do something. You have to invest into people you truly trust, and that's as far as you can go. I've said this plenty of times, but like, for fuck's sake, this is like very much highlighted in this special time of inflation, and thinking like, well, now you have to really appreciate your dollars, but like your money, but like that's what got us into trouble to begin with. We're so charitable. We want to support everyone so badly. All we can do is just defend ourselves. And oopsie noodles, Ukraine was not a part of NATO and didn't have defenses prepared. And that's it, bro. So we're just gonna send them? We don't know which side Ukraine is on. This could still be a bluff, you know? To cause a lot of weird problems and twisted shit all across the world, basically. Because now it's pretty twisted. I don't even want to comment. Like, everything is so twisted and everyone just kind of wants to start more wars simply because this one started. So, technically, it's the craziest bluff ever. The reason for this, so not only Russia controls the dream world, but they know how to threaten someone. They know how to inject ideas. That's the power of the dream world. The most important effect of the dream world. Important effect of dream world is to inject ideas. Alright. Talking about vaccines, this is the one, boys, that you should be really scared of. Now, it brings us back to, like, COVID is also a very, very complicated problem. The pandemic is a very complicated problem. Because it all, like, runs on fear. On fear. Who's my leader? Who's my... Because if nobody had leaders, we just deprived of information of what to do next. You know? And the leaders are just breaking down if they can't control their people and can't connect to them anymore. If everyone is in a fear mode. So potentially a lot of old people died because they thought they were leaders, but they have literally no control over reality, and just it has been proven, basically. Again, I don't look into things as like, oh, there's viruses, there's scientific bullshit. I just look into emotional stuff that happens, and it's 99% importance, and you can play with that 1% whatever you feel like. Alright? Playing. You can play with your balls. But I'm talking about real stuff, which is emotion level. So on emotion level, it's leadership that has been attacked. People have been disconnected from each other, and that just destroys leaders immediately. Alright? So right now, narcissists potentially going to be destroyed. The businessmen who had dreams of some kind, but because of our desperation, we might not actually appreciate their dreams if they're not actually solving enough problems, which is going to be like, well, please delay that because we have to focus on the other stuff right now. So a lot of businesses are going to start getting, first of all, corrupted, because everyone's going to get desperate. But it's going to be very interesting to see. Technically, it has been already a year, and we have been sleeping on this shit. It has already been a year of the massacre that has been going on. I've been sleeping. I'm just like, oh wait, there's a lot of work to do, because the most important work is like, yes, we can survive this year, but what's going to happen next? The next is Europe collapsing, which is very fascinating because I fucking live in Europe, and that's pretty weird. So clearly, while Russia is collapsing, it's also getting a little bit of a spotlight for what it is, right, and what its function to the entire world this whole time was. And again, most people don't even think Russia was even that important, but it's basically because U.S. counters Russia very easily, and U.S. has been, creating the narrative this whole time. So Russia always looked weak, but, it doesn't look weak for me. All right, it's a threat for me and my survival. For individuals, Russia is still a superpower. So you can't just look into like, oh, countries can counter each other. No, for individuals, like, from my perspective, I can actually tell you guys how scary Russia can truly get. All right. Hopefully, Russia is not gonna haunt my dreams, even though I had a friend Russian, basically, who speaks Russian with his, family members, but speak Lithuanian with us, That's cool. But then he just everyone just left. Everyone detached from me when they realized they can't relate to me anymore. Which is so annoying. And potentially this could be already just corruption coming out. Again, it's only the weak ones will get eliminated. as I say. You know, if there's a crisis, only the weak ones are gonna get in trouble. With COVID, it was pretty simple. You just follow the procedure, you know, whatever you need to do. So if you do have to get vaccinated, don't be a fucking baby and go for it. All right, maybe some shit is gonna happen, but it's just some liquid. I think you're gonna survive it. All right, but if you're gonna be emotionally attached that it could potentially destroy you or whatever, you're just giving more power to it. All right, you gotta take a bullet. You gotta take a bullet. This is not. That doesn't look like a bullet to me. All right, it looks like something people can actually handle. I'm not saying it's good for you by any means. It is still a bullet, but very tiny and unavoidable technically. But you know, if you focus on the right things, but we're already past that, right? The problem is, you know, one apocalypse stage reminds the other. I can see the pattern here too, because if the dream world comes alive, you know, the pandemic, the fear world has came alive previously, and we just like, oh, nothing. No, the fear world. You have no idea what the fucking fear world is. It's gonna come back, boys. That's what's gonna spark desperation. But because if you have control over Dreamworld, now Fear World is gonna be completely out of control. People gonna be desperate. It's pretty scary. I'm already feeling like shit about it, but let's push through it, right? So potentially different kind of worlds are going to be opening up. I would imagine Matrix is the third one, because Matrix of a bunch of problems, potential problems. Because I literally live in Matrix right now, Matrix mode, and potentially I was living in a dream world just a few years ago. So I'm living slightly ahead of everyone, so I'm prepared of all the crises. But I have limited amount of resources, so I have to go forward in time just to be able to predict what is the potential problems that I will need to solve. So when those problems come, I'm just fully prepared, just really fully prepared. But those problems do in fact come. All right, they're not fucking jokes. They do in fact come. All right. They can't touch me because I'm keep solving new problems from the future. So everyone's like, well, what the fuck are you doing, right? But that's the whole point. Is so nobody thinks that I'm some kind of weirdo normie that is stuck with the same problems as everyone else. And it's like, whoa, you're solving these problems so very well. You can solve my problems too. That's what normies want to imply, you know. Normies always want you to help them in case you are good at solving problems. However, what makes me scary is that I'm solving problems of the future, so I can tell them, yeah, I can solve your problem after you threaten me, basically. Yeah, that's cool. But then I will not be able to solve that future problem that's gonna happen, you know? Then I'll be prepared to fucking strike back by the time the other problem hits. You know? And that's where I threaten them with. The future was the greatest threat of all time. So, I'm prepared, alright? But I have to work tirelessly, guys. Right now, I'm kind of like sleepless, and it's indicated by this thing right here. You know, the 940 is crazy number. Sleepless, guys. I slept for 3 hours. Potentially, my dream world is being robbed as we speak. So I can't sleep for too long. I don't know what's up. I mean, if I'm too excited to live, man, there's a threat to my life. I'm just saying. But on Valentine's Day, I don't think it's a real threat. It's more of a, you know, we love you so much, you can, you know, work the entire day for us. You know, that sort of threat. It's a fake one created by people who actually I care about, you know. So they want to make this a special day for me. You know, I don't deserve a bad life, so I know I'm like fully aligned with values and everything, but I can't brag about it either. I'm just saying. Here we go, guys. We nailed it. Except I can't celebrate. I don't have pictures of anything besides stuff on my Instagram, some weird pictures of a fucking teddy bear or whatever. And I don't need that, unfortunately. I'm not even gonna look into that. I just looking if there's a message somewhere somehow. Operating table and everything. I literally have no one to relate to, it's so annoying, but it's also a superpower that I cannot underestimate. You know, people, survivors basically, survivors figure out how to live life beyond the apocalypse that just happened. You know, they just have to rewire their brains and like, okay, that happened. All right. I guess we solved those problems. So people have learned the fear world. They have activated their whatever part of the brain that detects fear. Even on the internet, detects fear. And I'm past that. I no longer fear anything. But I do feel that I do feel fear just because, you know, it's a very interesting feeling to have. Just because, you know, people want it so badly, so I can't escape it. But now we're in the Dreamworld phase, and again, I already decoded it, like AI is the dream world, and it's taking over the world right now, and it's like, technically giving you what you want, but nah, bro. Nah, it's just a tease. It's a fucking tease. Obviously. Clearly, AI is not gonna give you what you want. Whatsoever. Not even close, my friends. Yeah, it's gonna solve problems for you. That's the whole point. So you don't have problems. But, it also gonna steal a bunch of dreams from you at the same time. Because you're gonna be like, oh, you solved my problems, but wait. And you... Yeah. What? You said something? You had something? I have it. I have the entire list of everything. But did you had something? No. Oh, you're going back to the fear world. Yeah. Demoted. You can go back, you might even come back swinging, I don't know, bro. But now there's 2 layers to balance. 2 things to balance all at once. It's getting pretty scary, right? So yes, as long as I follow principles, as long as I'm being rational and reasonable, but most importantly, I appreciate feelings very, very much. And I react to rising problems, to things people say and whatever people are trying to do, with their weird fucking ways, you know. They figure it out. Wow, they figure it out. After the pandemic hits, it's like, wow, we know how fear works now. And, unfortunately, I have a little bit of a teaser going on in my own... I have to clean up some shit, guys. Because when I was in hospital, people were, you know, lurking around, let's just put it that way. So, when did it happen? Well, here. No, here. I release my thing, and soon after I disappear. Oh, there's still lots and lots of stuff going on. So, we're gonna get to that. Because I don't trust nobody, so whoever is attracted to me, you know, that's, Fear World is such a fucking messed up shit, and I got prepared for that, like, long time ago, before pandemic happened. Long time ago. Nope, not long time ago, 1 year prior, alright? 1 year prior. So every single time, I'm 1 year ahead of everyone, prepared, basically, for what's about to happen. But it's so twisted, such a twisted nightmare to live in. Go through the apocalypse, like, what the fuck, bro? What? And then you realize, I have to say it. But I literally couldn't connect to anyone besides, you know, the things I've collected. Like, touched grass or whatever people call it. Yeah, touched grass. It's the scariest thing to offer, to be honest. In a Fear World context, because, you know, like, you go outside and you're now subject to the elements, unfortunately. Ugh, it's so fucking nasty, dude. It's so nasty. The Fear World is the worst. I can already feel a lot of people being attracted. Yeah, bro. But, you know, I will retaliate. I'm prepared for everything, so, no big deal. Yeah, it's not something I wanna... Yeah, you guys can beat each other up, but I don't live in the Fear World, alright? If I just go down and stay for too long in the Fear World, it's like... Guys, it's not my thing. Also, it's a new thing, alright? It's a new thing around the world, the fear thing, to try and manipulate each other and psychologically fucking ruin people's days, fight or flight responses and all that shit. It's a fucking Fear World. That means nothing to me, bro. Fear World, however, is outdated, and there's a new problem to solve. Alright? No. Well, we're done with that one. In the Fear World, so, these 2 years, I mean, that one's pretty scary, because, you know, my freedom was taken away, but people were looking for me, and they're gonna get knocked out for every little fucking thing they have said, bro. Because I can look back into everything that I've done, and be like, oh, I did it because of fear. No, I was rationalizing every single fucking move that I made. Alright, it's impossible. It's impossible. I have knowledge, guys. But no one values knowledge. It's like, oh, you have knowledge, you're gonna bleed your knowledge, bro. How? How am I gonna do that? You know, there's also knowledge that the closer you're gonna get to me, the tinier you are. So defense is the best way to survive. Self-defense. No, just building your environment against your opponent. You know. All sorts of tricks like that. But yeah, Fear World comes back just to allow me to make this video. I'll just, you know, say goodbye to that. But yeah, if a lot of people are full of fear, leaders just fall apart. Who can't handle shit, you know? Because they can't save you from your own fears. It's way too difficult. They can give you principles, but they have to let you go and solve the problems for yourself. Now with the dream world, it's a way, way, way different problem. Unfortunately. So you as God, alright, first of all, you're not supposed to have fear, right? But fear to do things you like, things that appeal to you, which is technically also a dream world, or you kind of going towards the dream world. But once you're in the dream world, what do you do next? What is that thing you do? Well, you set up rules. I think the rule solving is how it all works. All right. Now that you have your dreams, that's how you get in. You need rules. So the rules are because dreams have to interact with other people's dreams. Alright? That's the whole point. Yeah, this is annoying. Because just solidating these words for myself, the dream world, fear world. But you must understand, your ability to do things is so limited that it's best just to focus on a few things that you want to do. Otherwise, you will fail everything. Alright? Because you have to achieve one thing after the other. Otherwise, you will be a failure. And you will not be able to keep up. Which is quite an annoying thing. You have to keep up with everyone else. Yes, you're a normie. Yes, you are in the shadows. Whatever you are, you have to keep up with humanity, which is it's not that difficult. You're gonna get your senses beaten up if you're not able to do your shit. You know, sometimes you will have to be the aggressor to some extent. But no violence is needed for any of this stuff. Don't worry about it either. It's just like the world is much more weird than you think. Alright? This is me just going back to the old days and like scaring the shit out of people. I didn't do that for a year now. But I have to do it now. Now it is pretty important. Because we're talking about literally the history that we're going to be dealing with. I have to be able to predict how it's going to play out this year and next year. But I don't think I can predict. I can peek a little bit into the future of like what is the fourth apocalypse, because once we have 3, it's pretty obvious what the pattern is, right? So you need rules for dreams. For dreams to interact with other dreams, you need rules. You need to fully understand how much you appreciate someone, how much you're connected. Just, I have my rules. You know, I have set up my thing, the way I do shit, and it's very, very complicated, but don't worry about it. It's the Shadow Realm. Maybe you can adopt it for yourself. I don't know how it works exactly. If it's good enough to be adopted, I'm not gonna give you guys anything but suggestions, alright? So this is what I use, and I update it constantly, and I don't know if you can keep up. Like, again, it's another unrelatable thing, but you can download an old version and maybe master that, and nothing really changes significantly here. You're just clicking buttons, whichever one you like. You know, once you understand, like, in the dream world, anything is possible, that's cool, but you also must understand what exactly is possible and how exactly to execute it without damaging reality that you live in already. Because, like, yes, in the dream world, everything is possible, but you still have to follow rules. That's the whole fucking point. In the fear world, there's only one rule. It's like, stop fearing, you little piece of shit. Or you're gonna get in trouble, basically. You gotta hold on to something. Something that you like about reality that's worth living for. And it turns into a dream, and it invites you into the dream world, into a higher level. And now, past that point, where do we go from here? We kind of solved it. And it's good not to focus on Russia specifically, or China, whatever. But those are territories with very specific cultures. And we will get to Europe now. Alright, let's see if we can do that. Right now, everyone is opening their own little matrix and asking you to donate, pay attention, basically asking you to give your resources in order to solve their little matrix. But that's a bait. You're not supposed to give anything to anyone unless it actually helps you. Alright? Because the next thing that's going to happen, everything is going to be enveloped into a matrix of some kind. There's the third apocalypse. The Matrix apocalypse. Where the dream world has been mastered. And the rules have been mastered. And pretty much like the entire world has changed entirely. And it's super fucking scary to think about. But now you're into problem solving, because like, okay, everyone's dreams somewhat came true, because like it's quite easy for dreams to come true because everything is possible in a dream world. So you kind of have a mix of like how much you can get from the reality and how much you can get from the real world, from the dream world, when you actually dream. All right, but it's awkward because two dream worlds collide. You're a constant dream world where you go when you sleep, and the dream world of just entire world. You know. Now another problem is like maybe it's just my consciousness playing tricks on me, because you know I get older and I get to piece these puzzle pieces together. That's annoying. But I don't know how to feel about that, because I can't relate to anyone besides gathering resources that help me survive and keep sanity and all that stuff. So I definitely keep track of that. It's the most painful thing. If I lose that, I lose everything. Alright, so I don't want to mess things up. Alright, so past this point, the Matrix. So now that I established exactly how my dream world works and how to summon things and how to connect things, how to communicate, then check their content, all that stuff, super easy, super quick. For different people, it's completely different. Obviously, I just sit here on the internet and control things here, which is completely fine. I mean, and I will definitely allow people to use internet and fully open. It's just like people don't give a fuck. It's like people want to be challenged all the time, which is stupid. Alright? It is really, really stupid. People want to be in constant fear or constantly fucking doing their thing, basically, playing their games. But it's very difficult to master roles and to get into the Matrix if you don't get any support from anyone. Alright, because I live in shadows, I can support myself. I can create shadow clones and support myself. It's not that difficult for me. But everyone else would struggle, you know, like, they need, like, real support, real viewership and stuff like that. That's the real desperation as well. I want to take a step back again. Like, what would happen if people get desperate? Like, we need to like master this thing, because this is relevant right now, this year specifically. What can possibly happen that's bad? Or maybe I'm exaggerating? Unfortunately, it's never an exaggeration of anything, just like the fear world is a very, very scary thing. Alright? It can get ridiculously scary. But if you survive it, if you remain sane eventually, I mean, that's a great reward. In fact, like, Jewel herself, Jewel told everyone in the song that if you survive, you will be rewarded, or survive, escape, or whatever. I don't know. Escape the mind. I don't know, bro. Jewel understands the fear world very well, and she started the whole fucking mess to begin with. I don't appreciate necessarily too much, because, you know, you become your own enemy if you're stuck in these levels. Like, she's way, 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 way down right now, and kind of invoking the whole thing. Now, there's, again, the question of age. And is specific age puts you on these like special years. Like, I am identifying special years for your special age group. I mean, is it all set in stone and like she's just climbing here? Because Jewel, I believe she's 25 now, which is 3 years ago. So climbing here, I don't know, bro. Into the fear world. That's some weird shit, isn't it? That is weird shit. Like, if that's exactly, like, people's exact age is exactly aligned with their year, and I'm just shitting around. But no, it's like a worldwide thing, right? I don't know, because I've never actually seen anything. I could be just played, you know. So that's a problem too. But it's I feel like I just need more knowledge and I will not be played. It's so annoying. Can knowledge be deceiving? But no. See, the problem is like if I let my knowledge attack itself, I'll be just falling down all the way into the fear world, which is not where I want to be right now. You know, I don't want to be scared of everything. Yeah, I guess the thing is, when your consciousness opens up and you just like solved the normal life, you get into these higher levels. But right now, these are like forced on an entire world. It's like a fucking filter on everyone. And I'm just like, maybe we just would live a completely normal life, but right now it's just forced. This unprecedented thing in our history, maybe. I don't know. It's just like, I feel so fortunate to be like very, very precisely in the right place and time and all that stuff, to be able to handle this stuff very accurately as well. I can't even understand none of this shit. This is what's so confusing. This is the real problems I'm dealing with right now. And every single bullshit video I'm faced with, you know, that I have to make, it's problem solving. I'm trying to improve my presentation and everything, hoping that my videos can attract some watch time now. But it's also very scary because it just breaks the fabric of everything. But because I'm reaching Matrix very early, again, I get to connect to people. That's the most important thing about the Matrix, is Yes, you have been dreaming, but have you connected dreams yet? See, people get stuck in the dream world, but then they realize there's a lot of problems that they're facing all of a sudden that they don't know how to solve. And so they would be looking around for solutions, but the best way to do it is to just visit other people's dream worlds, which is what I allow right now, but people are still stuck in this phase, because I'm already, ahead, and I have to prepare myself, and I have to look clean, and by the time they actually visit me, I'll be fully prepared to connect and all that stuff, and solve their problems, which is fine. Now I can fully appreciate that stuff, that's cool. Which still destroys me emotionally, but I guess we have to move on past this point. Can we reach even higher understanding of where we go from there? For that, I need to reach 10,000 on power 4. Jewel can stay. And that's it. Just 10,000. These are Powerpuff Girls. And maybe we together, with all the powers combined, with the connection, psychic connection, just for a moment, we can take a peek into even this way distant future of what is the fourth thing. Now, again, Europe is gonna break down. Well, Europe has a lot of problems. Alright. Just like Russia has terrible dreams, I would say. And China has terrible fears, so it's, created all these borders because it's just scared of the outside world. So Europe simply has a lot of problems as a very fucked up matrix. And now you can see how the world works, which is disgusting. Yeah, because opening your eyes is always actually, I liked when the eyes were closed, so can I do... Oh, no, I can't do that anymore. Once you know something, you can't unknow it, unfortunately. You can somewhat forget about it and move on emotionally, but now you have triggers. People can push buttons and remind you of things, which is fine. That means you can trust them because they know about you to some extent. It's if you figure out that I have certain buttons, damn, that took you a long time to figure it out, so congratulations. It's actually not a bad thing at all. I don't want to spread the idea when I said ask or die. But sometimes to die means to just lose the game. Straight up lose the game, and it's the most forbidden feeling, so I just say it, die. Because you don't want to feel the full spectrum of that feeling is just hitting a wall, basically. Hit brick wall, being rejected, really rejected from getting to the next level where you get to experience even better form of life, which is fantastic, right? You would want to do that, right? It is so scary, man. It is so scary, but you have to fall in love with life. It's just, what else are you gonna do? It's, at the same time, it's very, very natural for you to just do the right thing. And if you do the wrong thing, it's you're allowed to do that. It's just, you can do so many things and they're still gonna be right. And you can come back and just, I don't know. And at the same time, at very least, you're gonna feel freedom. If you want to feel freedom. You're gonna feel whatever you want if you could take control over all these things and solve your problems. So, let's listen to a bunch of songs from all of these girls. Let's prime it up as let's start with Fear, then Dreamworld, and matrix, see what pops up. In a way, I do believe that celebrities are more of like a manufactured thing that projects, you know, good vibes and solutions to things. But you really have to be willing to accept those things. You have to be looking for those things, otherwise it doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess the scariest part is like people would never understand. It's like I don't feel lonely or anything. I'm completely fine with my internet stuff. And it's not my fault. Knowing that it's not my fault is just the biggest liberation. Is just like everyone else is a fucking asshole most of the time. Not, but unfortunately, I still have to develop myself. Like I'm still pretty young, and I'm getting entangled into this nonsense. It's so weird, bro. It's so weird. Anyways, now it's also weird to know, like, oh, it's 8 years. What's going on? What is this, like, character development? What's gonna happen next? Well, probably just reiteration of all the things over and over again. It's just gonna repeat themselves. It's kind of just what different generations go through. So it's not, and we kind of align ourselves to experience the same thing. So again, we still, all of us struggle with inflation and desperation. All of us, all right? We have to be connected to this one thing. So it doesn't really matter what our age is, but because the world is so weird, potentially we can go back to where we're comfortable with, while at the same time tackling what everyone else is tackling, so we could live in 2 different time zones at the same time. Is some weird shit as well. I'm still, again, problem solving, but the biggest problem to solve is what's next? What is the last fucking thing? Can we actually figure this out? That's some crazy shit, but alright, so let's begin the song review. What's gonna happen if I type in Fear Dream and the Matrix? Yeah, solid rules. I could say things like, oh, you have to share your dream world with other people, but dream worlds are just very, very flexible things. It's just, you must understand, you're not the only one here doing your thing and trying to achieve your thing. I think a fundamental principle that everyone shares is like, just try to be humble, try to not be invasive and violent. Alright? This thing we can all share and agree on. Anyone who's violent, we have to, shut them down and shrink them down to an ant. You can be violent, but you're also going to be an ant. So good luck with that. Also, I might just accidentally step on you, so that would be weird. But yeah, if you want to be violent, you'll have to shrink down. If you want to be humble in all the ways, you'll have to become a fucking giant, basically. Unfortunately. So no one can really just avoid you without a spiritual experience. Alright? And another principle, to respect other dream worlds, don't be violent, or you will shrink. And I felt all of these things. Everything, bro. I felt everything. I was being tossed around like nothing, man. Until I figure out how to stand on my ground. But it's such a weird world, man. When people just are established, you feel so different. Every single year, your experience is completely different. So you also have to be patient. That's also very important. Patience every year a person can significantly change, usually for the better, which also gives a lot of hope. But that's what patience is like hoping that a person is going to get better and just gonna be invited in your dream world just for a visit, just to get in touch, not to connect. You can't connect, it's too difficult. But just to spend some time, get to know each other, and that's as far as you can go, alright? Connecting is too difficult, as I was saying. So afterwards, the dream world, there's something more, but I forgot about it. Yeah. The vibes, dude. Alright? Make sure your dream world is clean. I was tossed around on this one as well. At the same time. I was like in this fucking magical house in UK, and it's like, I get to learn all these things, basically. On my own. And, then I started hearing voices in my head, for fuck's sake. Anyways. Not in my head, actually. Kind of, I just started hearing voices, let's put it that way. Or projections of voices, I don't even know, bro. Just some stupid shit. But, the vibes. Make your dream world, make sure your dream world is clean of bad influences and messages, alright? People just sometimes fall in love with like skulls and some nasty things, like they get used to saying swear words when there's no need for that. If you can find a purpose, that's fine, but you have to mix everything, alright? The vibes are best if you have a collection of a lot of things and you appreciate a lot of things. Otherwise, you're not gonna work out very well. Alright, you're gonna be fixated on one thing, and if it's actually a negative thing, it's gonna just ruin everything. The entire experience of life is gonna be ruined by that one thing. And I see people like make all these mistakes. It's like, what the fuck is going on, bro? It pisses me off, man. But, they think like, oh, I've mastered the fear world with this one thing by triggering people's fears, and it's like, wow, I feel so good now. You fear more than I fear. But that's also fear. To try and generate fear is fear. Even if it's not your fear, it's someone else's fear. So the moment you start empathizing and getting to know that person, now you will get to know how much they fear, how much fear they have generated overall, and it's not going to be a good experience whatsoever. Alright? Potentially my mom is getting quite a backlash for me. 'Cause I don't like this shit, bro. I can't empathize with her. I can't understand her fucking moves anymore. She's still not a rational being, despite, kind of improving her life, but I have to push her a little bit more. And that's the struggle that I have to deal with. So, those are 3. So what is the 4th one? There's always the fucking 4th one. Alright. I think, it's a very basic one. Alright. Curiosity. Find ways to not only not be bored, but excited to know people. Just know people, Very basic thing. I already said about it. Like, you have your dream world, but you need to at least be familiar with other dream worlds of what is possible. Just straight up what is possible. Because you'll be surprised every single time I bump into a new person. I'm always surprised. Oh, wow. Really? You can do that? That's weird. Because they always invent like a new meme thing to do, just a whole nother perspective in life, and it's pretty crazy stuff. Alright, so being curious is ridiculously valuable. So those four things, you get to awaken your superpowers again. That's cool. I have delayed my thingy, but this is literally new chapter. 4 rules for a great dream world. And now let's move on to the songs and try to awaken the dragon, basically. The 4th thing, beyond the Matrix. Even though there are probably some rules and problem solving as well that I could introduce you to. I just want to take a peek and solidify that we're all safe as long as we, do the right thing. Because when I looked into Sniper Wolf's content, the thing that stood out the most is 2 problematic people. When they bump into each other, they create chaos, alright? But when 2 loving people bump into each other, I really feel connection with Sniper Wolf, and she probably could do the same. It's a fucking miracle. You feel safe, you feel like you have solved an anxious thing within yourself, and within the rest of the world, like, they have been waiting for this. They have been waiting, but it will take time for people to understand the impact. So it's a very beautiful thing, I would say. I can't wait until it all unfolds, basically, so... Not only I'm living in the future, but if I get into the real world, people will realize how fast I had to run just to survive, without any help. So I developed skills, not necessarily resources, just straight up skills. And you would think like, oh, but everyone knows how to edit videos now, and everyone knows how to present themselves. No, fundamental skills. Self-presentation skills is something you're like forced to learn if you're a celebrity, if you're an influencer. If you're a popular kid, you have to have an impressive skill, but in the Shadow Realm, you have to have survival skills and sanity skills, and just kind of like resource generation skills, ability to avoid problems in your life. Like, damn, you must understand, this is not a fucking joke. Be in the shadows and just live a life in the shadows. For fuck's sake, man. Like, if I break, I break really fast. Potentially. That's how it feels like. And I have to take care of everything. But, for fuck's sake, I'm still deviating. Alright, let's just jump in. Scared to be lonely is her fear. Alright, let's click. Very nice stuff. I like this song. Yeah. Out of all the things, Joel is like, doesn't want to be rejected. Because I'm not sure exactly. That's the vibe. Let's get into the dream stage for every single artist, alright? Read my mind. Okay, let's not pick the first one, because fuck that shit. Fucking Jewel is gonna level up. How do I do that? Make her drink. Drink. I don't know. It's the best I can do. Alright. Matrix? Let's say, problem. Issues? Cover? I've never heard of this before. Obviously, I don't know what the prompt for 4th song is. Everything just worked flawlessly, by the way. How about I need you? You got them too. Let's share issues. Perfect. I mean...
I know that you're hurting, but I guess everyone's got someone who can blow their shit up.
Congrats.
She made you wanna
live a nice life. All right, 10,000. Congratulations. Let's celebrate real quick. So I will contribute the problem part to the main group. I just needed to solve her problem, but these girls don't have it. All right. So unity is what we need. But who's gonna be the next target? Well, we're gonna go backwards, obviously. Also, I want to take a break, actually. Deepest fear?
Let's talk about your fear of sea urchins.
Yeah, that was some weird shit, bro. That's some encoding to do. But I don't want to dive into that shit. Sea urchins and getting framed. Well, she got framed for being a narcissist. It's just that simple. You can't get away from that one. I remember this one thing, when I was stuck in a hospital, I had to watch the stupid show where a poor person gets to live a rich person's life and they just basically swap. It's kind of cute, you know, but the funny thing is, it was a Russian show, alright? It had seasons and everything, alright? Which is another just hint at the dream world and how Russians actually care about this stuff. It's so interesting. And Will Taylor, as a narcissist, kind of does a similar thingy, not gonna lie. I guess if you're in love, you're fearless. It's a weird one. I'm not gonna dig too deep. Let's see what the dream... Pretty... wildest dreams, right? But I'll listen to Ready for It instead. Because I like it so much more. Actually, probably Taylor, in my dreams though, when she shows up, hinting at like, oh, make a popular song, and it's like, wait, no, you probably just want a song for you? I can do that. Let me try to vibe. Not as trippy as I hoped. I don't even know what I learned about it. I just remember the 9/10s. And I was like, but what does that mean? It's tens. There's only one thing we call 10. It's a very attractive person. And you just, as a celebrity, it's so difficult to actually make relationships that make any sense whatsoever. Alright? Unless you're desperate. But neither of these girls have relationships, and I don't think Ari has a real one either. So it's just, it is what it is, man. Cause like, if you're both super attractive, like it's not gonna fit. The puzzle piece is not gonna fit. Unfortunately, it's just gonna create a more attractive couple, and get yourself into even more problems, into a bigger, brighter spotlight. If you want it so badly, that's cool with me. But let's move on to the problem. Where's the problem? Anti-heroes? The newest thing is the problem? Actually, the old one, but... Is she the... Whatever. Whatever, bro. Yeah, you had no dream, okay, fuck it. I have to move, and also I need a shower, but then I activate Ari, in a weird sequence. Backward sequence like the dream told. Why though? But I have to do shower, guys. I can feel when I need one. Alright, so we start with... Why did I forget fear? No tear. Okay. State of mind, she wants to be all the time in fear. But it's like, but that's not fear if you want to stay in this. What? So fucking twisted, man. Jesus Christ. I want to be I want to be in fear so I be attractive. But that's not fear. It's so stupid. So out of shower, I got two things basically that popped into my mind. So there's this invasion of privacy that is happening with TikTok, and it's probably going to continue accelerating this year forward. Because, you know, you have your dreams, so you want to invade other people's dreams. But in reality, you just have to be curious. That's when it works. Obviously, no one wants to destroy privacy, but, you know, you feel like, oh, I can do it. Now everyone loses privacy if they go outside and everything. It's such a weird thing. And then the other thing is, like, the best dream wins. So, if my dream is better than yours, or everyone else's, it gets to be a part of the matrix, basically. The matrix of dreams. Because a good dream is basically going to be a win-win situation for everyone. A dream where everyone wins, technically. For the most part. But, you know, you get rewarded for having the best dream. You know. It's so crazy, man. I can barely believe it. But because I'm the first one saying that, yeah, I'm a little bit ahead. I'm not gonna lie. At least on this part. But, you know, you never know, because, like, I'm a little bit disconnected, and you have to try so hard to connect to people, and it's such a tireless nonsense thing to do. But do I care about normies? Do I really? Over the rainbow, guys. Normies can go be spectators and sardines, as I call them. Sardines. Let's just enjoy the roller coaster, the rest of this shit. 20 points left for 10,000. Yeah, the problem, dude, the problem is shit, right? There's solo version, let's go, baby. Damn. Without the whom, though, but, like, why is Ari such a fucking loner? Well, she's filled with problems, okay? Problematic people or relationships. And, yeah, that's what the song that, her husband has to listen to every day, actually. The funny thing is, I left Selena as the last person, and we already hit 10,000, and none of the prompts actually work. None of them actually give a song. Which is crazy. What? But Selena is the most powerful, so she doesn't need none of that shit anyways. So here's where we're gonna go next. We're just gonna go too bad, because I need to sleep. This is fucking midnight, guys. But it's just gonna be a small little break for you guys. But I have to go to the dream world, and who knows what's gonna happen. It's the scariest thing. Even though usually when you prime something, nothing happens. Literally nothing happens if you ask for it. But we never know. This could be different. Interesting. Interesting what's happening to Hearthstone. They want to burn in hell. Absolutely. Anyways. Yeah, this is some weird shit, bro. This weird shit. And I don't believe in coincidences that easily, so, especially with Hearthstone, there's no coincidence either. Shitstone, basically. And I don't want to shit bricks, guys. It feels pretty bad. Yeah, like, out of all things, inflation should not touch digital games, alright? It shouldn't fucking touch that. But we want to get more money because problems. No, you're making a stupid digital game, dude. And you probably already racked in a bunch of fucking money anyways. It's like, you can stop now. But whatever. Greed is a greed, boys. Inflation doesn't just, inflate prices, but, like, businesses who don't inflate prices, they feel like, oh, I can actually do that now. You know. Green light for inflation everywhere, you know. But this some crazy shit. Yeah, it's truly fascinating how it's just gonna be such a domino effect, and you can definitely see it. China, Russia falls on top of fucking Europe. And the rest of the gang. But every single time it's a completely different shift. The entire world is doing its own personality reboot, basically. And it's quite a spectacle, I would say. I found some kind of pattern when I was going to the shop and contemplated a little bit. Here it is. So 5. No. Shit. Rewind. Here's how we do this. Alright. Physical health. I thought about it immediately after, like, just pull the health out, because we're gonna talk about health. I thought about it, so you go outside and it's cold outside, maybe it's winter season or whatever, and you don't want to stay in cold for too long, because we know for a fact cold makes you sick. Alright, cold destabilizes you emotionally, and you can't just ignore the cold. That is the worst thing you can do to yourself. You shouldn't drink cold water either. All these things are going to make you sick. I have already learned that. And when I went outside, you know, the thoughts that come to me are like, I don't want to stay in the cold. I want to go fast and do my thing, and you're not supposed to stay in the cold for too long. If you're walking slowly and just fucking walking around when it's cold outside, you're fucking destroying yourself for no reason. Stay at home. That's the real pandemic is when it's cold outside. Alright, that's the real pandemic. And maybe you should even wear a mask because it makes your face warmer. You know, that's cool. Or if you walk too slowly, then you don't want to be recognized for how stupid you are. So, you know, just common courtesy. And in this case, washing your hands means warming your hands with warm water. That's also true. So cold is the pandemic, and always has been. And you can't fucking take it lightly. Then mental health. So the way things deteriorate, the damage. First you get physical health, where you disregard your emotional well-being. Then you have mental health, where it just completely disrupts your mental focus and all that stuff. This is the way to protect mental health is obviously make sure that you just physically feeling very well is the best way to protect yourself. Pretty straightforward, right? But what happens if you even lose mental health? Then future health is in stakes. You can start destroying your own future and the potential of achieving great things in life. There's always the potential to get even better and better things each time you achieve something. So as long as you have the capacity to, potentially it will happen, right? You have to be prepared for that. You have to be mentally stable and be able to collect things and, establish a dream world. You just have to be ready for anything, anytime. So mental focus is very much required, and if you lose that, you lose the future. You lose a lot of opportunities all of a sudden. And then finally, you lose existential health. It could, but I don't know what it is still, because it's the 4th level, and we still haven't figured out what the 4th apocalypse would be. When but actually, I think we know. And remember when I talked about social media blackout? That would be it. All right. First, we invent AI. China has their own blackout, so they kind of pump people into social media because of the COVID stuff. They pump people, but at the same time, COVID actually disrupted more stuff, even on the internet, because like Smosh has broken down, Nigahiga broken down, a lot of channels were struggling to actually make content all of a sudden, and that's weird, because they shouldn't be struggling, but they did. Everyone has to wear a mask at the audience and all that shit just triggers people. It's crazy. Yeah, there's so many common courtesy things you have to just follow, a lot of rules you have to follow to just be able to make your regular episodes. It just basically becomes impossible unless people are creative enough, smart enough to break through that. So there's a lot of layers upon layers that will just create this domino effect that is targeting specifically the internet, as you can tell. Internet is the one being targeted here. So basically solve the problem, right? I know exactly what social media blackout is, and I've made an episode about that, and I'll probably make more episodes similar style, because this is a pretty big deal. So that's cool. Where do we go from here? Do we wrap it up? Because you must understand, if we're not using social media properly, if we have to give up a lot of useless things, people who don't know how to use social media must not use it, must not be confused, must stay in focus and do things that are important instead of distracting themselves. We have to solve problems that are important. If you feel bad for doing your job, you have to make sure that your boss knows and you can solve this problem. It's a problem that can be solved. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna quit or whatever. I'm just gonna switch a job. Yes, if your manager does not actually want to fix anything, then it's his fault all of a sudden. There's so many things that we have to focus on. Soon, very soon, we will have to start focusing on problem solving, because technically it's almost this is not it. This is not it, but yeah, it's weird how it's kind of backwards but forwards, because the apocalypse shit is backwards, literally backwards, but kind of still makes sense. What? But then it should be water then. Oh shit. Water? Third one is water? Maybe? Yeah, it's confusing because, you know, again, when I bake the cake, it's backwards. It's just back, but that's what apocalypse should look like. Backwards, rewind time. For real. I mean, if we're destroying things, if we're killing things, that's quite a rewind. So we should be able to finish this apocalypse chart. So past this point, obviously I will not be able to figure out the word, the magical word. There's no way. I could see blackouts. Against addicts who relied on the internet to just keep them afloat. Against anyone who wanted to stay connected. But, I mean, if someone wanted to work hard for humanity, they just found another way to do it. It's most of the time the apocalypse is just to wash away people. It's almost like, you know, the special Noah's flood episode, you know. So, what is this? Well, that is a problem to be solved, to be honest. It probably is a unique word of its own if I cannot find it that easily. And, you know, that's the whole idea, is there's going to be so many problems, and people will need to focus. And anyone distracted against anyone distracted with useless problems. You know, whoever cannot let go of their useless shit. Because if you're trying to solve useless problems when everyone is solving all kinds of problems, if you're trying to do useless shit, I mean, no one's gonna respect you. And you're gonna be left behind, and you're gonna learn no skills, nothing. You're just a pretentious little shit in that situation. We have solved everything, I believe. This seems a little bit short, though, but there's more problems to you, dude. This is not... being addicted to social media is not just a distraction. Technically, it's a problem solving, too. The problem is, some people are addicted to express their negative emotions, just sit there on their asses and just annoy everyone else on the internet and flood the internet with useless crap. Like, we just have to wash that away. We have to block out accounts that just didn't use the internet for any good reasons. You know, but they were addicted into doing the same thing over and over again without realizing what kind of damage they're causing to society, that we rely on the internet now, like, straight up, and there's all sorts of fucking idiots running around thinking like they're allowed to disrespect everything and everyone that expresses their opinion. It's just ridiculous. Opinion can all be countered with another opinion, but you know, it's pretty hilarious to look at, and I can't wait for the consequences to roll out, but it will take some time. Alright, I have to prepare myself. You have to prepare yourself. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And this is not over yet, because we have to prepare ourselves. So there's more to it. Stay tuned, see you next time.